Yeah. Let's see here. So, this is going to be a boring stream, but I thought I'd stream nonetheless. I'm going to do some flight simming, and we got some egg rolls in the deep fryer. So I'll probably get up in a second here to go grab the egg rolls from the deep fryer. But I thought, what the hell was that? We got JL Warren up in here haunting our place. The JL Warren ghost. I guess it's so. It sounded like it was probably
Oh no.
I was gonna say it sounded like it was the griddle.
Shit.
Yeah. So yeah, I figured I would stream me playing Flight Sim. We just that camera's there. We're using that camera now. In a chase. Figured we got back and would let Amber and Lusty now have the night off now that Chase and I are back. So I gotta think. I was gonna do a flight from Athens. Oh, it's daylight there now. Oh, let's see. Athens Airport. No, not that one. I want Athens over here. Alright, so let's redo that. Athens. Oops. So I can't do a K because that's the US. Is there... What the hell might it delete it? So I took off from Greece before. Where did I take off from? Acropolis of Athens. Gat. What's this one? Alright, so we'll take off at... what's that one? How long are those runways? Those are short. Alright, we'll take off from Athens Airport. And we'll use this as departure, and we'll start at the gate medium. I think I started gate 1 before. And we are gonna go and land in Cairo. So Cairo International. Oh, alright. I'll be back. The egg rolls are done. So whoever might be here watching, I'll be back. So here's yours. Put your sauce in. You're welcome. Alright. Back. But I'm going to fill up my little jar for my sweet and sour sauce because I made some egg rolls. But I hope people were entertained by Amber and Lusty. Hopefully they had a good time and hopefully they had good conversation. I know Amber can sometimes get a bit long-winded with her stories. Right, Chase?
A little bit,
Yeah.
but helps when the other gal gets a little tongue-tied.
Yeah, when Lusty gets tongue-tied, but Amber, she can sometimes go a little too long-winded with her stories, so...
But we love it, Amber.
Yeah, we love Amber. And she's...
Amber Grease, Amber Stone,
Amber
Atkins.
Amber Atkins, yeah, she loves her St. Paul pork products for some reason. Alright. Yeah, I want an IFR flight, high altitude airways. The approach, I think I wanted... let's see, do they got flights taking off and landing yet? Which way are they going? I want 5 center. Because I don't want to be landing a direction that's opposite of what everyone else is landing. But I don't see any airplanes moving. So I can't say. And their flight patterns are very weird. Like, the one like kind of cuts off in the middle of nowhere. So I don't know how that's an ILS landing. So the winds are coming from 22 degrees. So yeah, runway 5 is probably the best. No, that's not right. Yeah, that's right. Because that would only be a 17 degree crosswind versus if I landed on 2-3. That's 230 degrees. That'd be way off. So we'll keep it at, 5C. Yeah, that's 50 degrees. So that's a 27 degree crosswind versus tailwind. Tailwind would not be fun. So we'll leave it at that. And I'm going to change. They always put me at 39,000 feet, which is the max altitude that this plane goes to, and it takes forever to get up there. So we're going to change the flight altitude to 35,000 feet. There we go. Flight conditions. Let's try live. Let's do live. What's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, why so high up?
For the 39,000 feet,
yeah,
or
why
what?
did they put you to the max?
I know, right? That's the service ceiling that they claim for the Airbus. Why put me at the service ceiling, especially on that short of flight? We don't need to be up that high. So, I'm getting used to the Airbus. I'm getting used to things, so you can't make too much fun of me with everything that I'm doing here. Oop, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna take off from the gate. No, I wanted to start at the gate 1, medium. And the winds are coming from 68, and they're gonna have me depart on which... What are you doing, Gizzy? You weirdo. Yeah, so that's probably good. All right. So we got cruising altitude 35,000 feet. We're going to take off from Athens. We're going to go to Cairo. And it's an hour and 27-minute flight, but I'm going to probably speed. I'm going to probably, do like a 2 times speed, 4 times speed during it, because it's going to get pretty boring. And I have, if there's, looks like we might have someone watching, I'm going to eat some of my egg roll. And so you might hear me crunching on stream, but I apologize. I'm really hungry. We were gone for quite a while, so that way Amber and Lusty could do their stream.
Yeah, they wanted to be the stars.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I think we're good. Boom. No. Don't expect me to be a perfect pilot in this, because I'm not an Airbus pilot. And I haven't flight simmed in a long time. I do have my license as a 172 pilot, even though I'm not current on it. These are so good.
They're really good. Makes me want my Asian.
What?
It makes me want my Asian.
Yeah.
But I could eat all that.
These fall apart really easy, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of crumbles left over.
This game takes forever to load sometimes. I do notice if I fly certain areas more frequently, it loads quicker.
It's used to it?
Maybe, because then it's, was already, I don't know. But I guess I'm doing live weather, so it's probably loading all the weather as well.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm talking to a ghost over there.
Ooh.
This is going to be a boring stream. I don't know what to talk about, but I figured I'm playing a game. And there's a lot that's been happening lately. So maybe we talk about some things that have been going on. Chase and I talk about some things. Alright, so I started up the engine, so I suppose I should probably turn on my beacon so people know that my beacon is going. Turn on the nav lights. And we don't need to turn on the nose yet. Have them get their seatbelts on. We don't want any smoking in here. So we're gonna get rid of that. Let's tune in clearance.
I would love if somehow you could have an inside scene as people inside just running amok, like smoking.
Right. Well, I don't even have a co-pilot. Like, if I look over, there's no co-pilot there. I'm flying this by myself.
You look over and there's someone there. Wouldn't that be scary?
That'd be creepy. Okay. Cool. So let's read that back. Mm-hmm. Engine number 2 is starting up. Whoa, that doesn't need to be up that high. Person behind there is getting blasted. Turn that throttle down. They do not need to get blasted. Alright.
Yeah.
Tune ground. Request taxi AFR. With Charlie, you didn't even give me a chance to read what the ATIS was. How do I have information Charlie if I haven't even listened to ATIS yet? Alright. So we'll acknowledge that. Then let's tune ATIS. go back to ground. Alright, so we got everything showing down here at the bottom. Oh crap, I just missed what the altimeter was. I think it was like 3015. Oops. So let's go 30 altimeter 3018. Okay, so let's do ground services. We want to request a pushback. Which way do we need to push back? Okay. I think I turned my brake off. We'll see if it pushes me back fast and I did not turn the brake off. If it pushes me back slow, or if it pushes me back fast, I turned it off. But if I did not, then... Chris, no, I am not doing a premiere tomorrow. I just had too many other things going on and just didn't really take the time to do something. I'll have to do something soon though. I want to do a video actually on the people that don't believe in or think that airplanes don't run off of fuel, and so I need to do some research on that. I'm not going to do all the work for them because they don't learn anything then. So I'll probably just kind of do like what the volume of a wing is and what the volume of fuel is, and then they can figure that shit out, or figure out, tell them what the dimensions of like a 747 wing, so that way if they want to do the math, they can do the math and see that it's possible. Yeah, I saw Wolf is doing one tomorrow. I'm excited for that. That'll be fun. I'm glad he finally joined and became a part of that. Alright, let's set the parking brake. We are going to do flight surface tests. So ailerons, you can see, are moving. Elevator. Rudder. And we're going to do spoilers. There they go. Alright, let's set flaps. Lower them down. Cool. Let's go back inside the cockpit. And go back to clearance. Get rid of this. We don't need that. Let's bump this up. For some reason, they don't want me to go over 210 knots during a certain part of the flight. We'll go only 210. Alright, so now that we're getting ready to taxi, we can turn on our nose light. And we'll keep all the other lights off for the time being. Limey Play might be joining Premiere Thursdays. That'll be awesome. That'll be good. Sorry, I don't know, you weren't here earlier, but I'm eating an egg roll as I do this. Oh. We can start our taxi. We got flaps set to level 1. Brakes are off. Everything looks normal. Let's bump this. Alright. Let's start our taxi. The other thing too is I don't know what kind of like videos to keep doing. If I do more biscuit videos and do like debunk stuff of just people who are stupid, or like do more biscuit stuff and not necessarily just flat earth, but like stupid people. Do I do more stuff just as myself? Now that it's nicer weather, I should be able to get the drone up soon and maybe launch some rockets and get videos of that. But I'm kind of having like a creator's block as to what I should maybe do or create. I don't know how people felt about Amber and Lusty tonight, but it was fun. I had fun doing it.
Oh, I had so much fun. It's a really good challenge.
Yeah, something different, and try to get Chase used to maybe doing stuff on the microphone and some banter. So when Eve comes out, maybe Eve can do some crowd pleasing. I know it's so unprofessional of me eating on live stream.
No.
And the dog is barking.
Stop.
Grumpy pants. So yeah, I don't know what I want to be doing. You know, I like doing some of the video stuff I've been doing as far as like actually creating things, like, you know, doing the Swordsman new opener and outro, doing the new intro tonight for yeah, no, Amber and Lusty. Aviation skydiving angle. I like that too. Problem is, like, one, I didn't go skydiving at all last summer, which sucks. Two is, I don't need a certain piece in my rig. I can skydive without it, but I prefer to have it in that automatic activation device. So, like, if I got knocked out during a skydive, I know that I'm going to have fabric over my head, whereas if I don't have that and I get knocked out, then I guess I don't know I hit the ground. And it cost $1,200 for a brand new automatic activation device. So I'd have to come up with the funds for it. And I've been spending all my money on computer hardware and stuff like that, and new furniture for the bedroom. So money's been going there and paying off a bunch of debts from when unemployment was very, very little for like 4 months, because they weren't passing any of the bills or anything like that. So I would like to get into skydiving again. I would love to be out there. Obviously, I want to jump all the time, but it's kind of hard to do when, like I said, I could jump without an automatic activation device, but I would need a repack on my reserve, which that's $75, and then obviously drive out to the drop zone and hope that people are vaccinated or social distancing and not catch anything from anyone out there. I could still talk about, like, you know, the different ways of flying inside the wind tunnel. I know I talked about body flight or belly flying, but I didn't really talk about back flying, and I said I think I was going to talk about back flying, and I never talked about it yet. So I could bring that up, I guess, if that's something people would be interested in. Or talk about airplanes in general. Or I could do like kind of like what Glovermon does, and maybe like screen record videos of me flight simming or something and doing a flight along downtown Twin Cities, or maybe, you know, LA or something like that. Alright, let's do request clearance for takeoff. Taking off, let's turn on all our lights. Come on. And on our strobe, we can leave that to auto. Yeah, you're right. I could do just anything on like the skydiving thing. I did that interview with my friend Sam, and that one got kind of long, and I figured I could like either shorten it Or I could do a short video of me just talking about the stuff that her and I talked about and like do snippets on that, so if people don't want to watch a 1 hour long video, then then it's in little snippets and it's not too much to take in, or the understanding of the safety behind everything. So I could do that. But yeah. I'm excited to do the drone stuff. Some of the other plan I have, so is I would like to mix in, since I got that DJI Pocket 2 that's got the gimbal on it, is if Chase and I go hiking, be holding that as we're hiking, because then it holds nice and still. And then I can mix some of that stuff in with some of the drone stuff. Yeah, part 1, part 2, part 3, exactly. I could probably break all that down into different areas, so that way it's not an hour-long video, and kind of discuss on more of the important things in it rather than stories in it. Oh, shush. So here we go. I think 140 knots is our roll. So we're going to start to roll. We're at 140, pulling up off the ground. We're going to put our gear up. There we go. I'm going to put the flaps up. Turn on the autopilot, the auto thrust. And there we go. So we're in the air. Gear is up. And flaps are up. And I don't think it follows my mouse on screen, but to the far left, there's this VFR map, and so you can see all the different little stations that I need to fly between. So I'll zoom out, and you can see how it goes. I don't know where it's going. It's being weird. Where are you going, airplane? That's not right. That's not right at all. It's doing its own thing right now. Ah, I see what it's doing. Rather than doing that big weird loop or a sharp turn, it's doing a smaller turn. Good. Oh, but yeah, here's my map. So I'm gonna go flying from Athens, Greece to Cairo. And then these are all the waypoints that I do on the way. I still don't know what it's doing. It's still doing some weird turn. Where is it going? You're going the wrong way, sweetie. There we go. Back on track. He set up a channel for Cookie. I don't know what he's planning on doing with that, if it's just a gaming channel or what he's doing. I thought maybe he was gonna do the Cookie and Biscuit show on there, but he's been doing it on his own channel. So I don't know exactly what's going on there. He hasn't really said much to me. It would be kind of cool if he did his own channel, or if Cookie had her own channel, because then we just do everything over there. But I understand why not, because if we can try to get Slim's channel more traffic, then might as well just keep it there. Yeah, it's weird that they want you to stay below a certain speed. So I don't know what the plan is. I know, like currently, I know he's had Cookie do a lot of gaming stuff and whatnot, and for me with Biscuit, is I'd like her to just do random debunk video stuff on my channel and then do, the Cookie Biscuit show. That's kind of it. I don't want her to become like an ongoing type thing, consistent on my channel or where I'm sitting here gaming. Because, well, one, that'd be a lot of work because Chase does Biscuit's makeup, and that'd be a lot of work for Chase to constantly be doing. Yeah? He's just over there all quiet.
I'm just listening.
You're just listening.
Just playing my little game on my phone.
What game are you playing?
It's called AFK Arena.
Away from Keyboard Arena?
Sure.
Oh.
It's like this little. It's like a mix of like mystical characters and stuff.
Yeah.
You gotta create, play.
Fun.
I just let my brain go a little.
Yeah. That's why I started flying, because I needed to let my brain go a little too. Because this don't take no thinking. Auto. Just in case. So let's see. Let's go. We got Greece over there. And I don't think we got anything over here. I think we got the Mediterranean. Let's go look on the outside. What do we got? Got a little island there. I don't know what island that is. But there's Greece behind us. I don't know how to get it to do it like an angled view. It's weird. The Mediterranean. I flew from Bangkok to Hong Kong the other day. And that was interesting. And I tried to do Beijing to some city in India, and I was flying, but then like the screen froze. It was still doing its flight, but I couldn't, I couldn't click on anything. And I don't know why that was. And so I had to back out of it, and it kind of sucked. Do I still have to maintain 210 knots, or can I finally speed it up? Let's bump this up to 35,000, because that's going to be my cruise altitude. Every time I get to the altitude that they tell me to go to, right when I get there, they tell me to go to the altitude that I actually truly am going to fly at, so I might as well just set it there right away. There we go. Yeah, so this is what flying a commercial flight would be like if you were a commercial pilot. Pretty damn exciting, eh? This is what I wanted to do for school. Why is that? Oh, it's highlighted because it's on there, I think. No, this is what I wanted to do as a career, but 9/11 happened the semester I was supposed to start flying, and so I got booted out of a ground school because the upperclassmen who needed to finish their flying from the semester before to pass their class, whatnot, because weather and everything, so you can't fly all the time. They usually get like 2 weeks in the first part of the semester to finish it up. And because 9/11 happened early on in the semester, and upperclassmen always get flying rates over lowerclassmen. And so the semester I was supposed to start flying got booted out for the upperclassmen. And so it was pretty much said, you know what? The jobs are going to go to garbage. Like, there's going to be no jobs out there, and I don't want $120,000, $130,000 student loan to not be flying. I was making more as an airline refueler than a lot of 5-year pilots were making.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we actually had some pilots who came and started fueling airplanes because we were making more than what they were. Because, you know, you're paid per hour, and by per hour what it is like, so the time that the beacon starts on the airplane, which means that the engine is starting to run, to when the beacon goes off, that's when you're getting paid your hourly wage. So if you're $20 per hour, and you know you're a new pilot, usually you're flying the small airplanes. So like, say it's a flight from like the Twin Cities to Eau Claire, Wisconsin, which I don't think they flew in Eau Claire, right? Well, some of the small ones might have. It's, you know, like a 30-minute flight.
Right.
So from the time the beacon goes on to the time the beacon's off, you might have been in the airplane for only 45 minutes, because count in like taxi time and whatnot. So you're $20 an hour, but you only did a 45-minute flight. So really, you're only getting paid like $17.50 for that flight, and then you're getting paid per diem when you're not at home. So say you're stuck in Eau Claire for 3 hours before your flight back, you get 3 hours of per diem, which is maybe like $1.50 or $1.25, and then you do your 45-minute flight back. So you might have done 2 flights in that day, and maybe you do another one like that, but you're really only making like $40 from that day.
Yeah, you'd basically have to be.
You have to be constantly flying or do the longer legs and stuff like that.
That's a lot.
And so that's why I was like, well, I'd rather make money than not have a career or not have a life and stuff like that. So, but I didn't want to fly these. I wanted to fly FedEx or corporate. But corporate sucks though too, because if you fly corporate, you can literally get a call at like 3 a.m. and then be like, "Hey, we want to fly to such and such place. Be ready by 5 o'clock." So then you got to get your ass up, got to create a flight plan, get out there, get the airplane ready, and go. You know. But the good thing with that is you could be flying really cool places though too. You know, hey, we want to go to Orlando. Sweet, cool. Let's go to Orlando.
That's a lot. That was like I had a friend who was a coroner, and he would have on-call days. And it would be something like 1 a.m. Gotta get going on that body.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you were doing.
Yeah.
On the table. I'm just having my little chocolate. This makes me happy.
I'm trying. I think so. I haven't watched many of his videos. And what's my vector? My vector is 132. No, 140. But I gotta watch more of Wolfie's videos to see what he flies. I thought maybe he was commercial though, wasn't he? I don't know. If he's got videos of him in the cockpit, I could probably see if it looks like it's more commercial or if it's more corporate. He said chocolate. No, I want chocolate. Chocolate covered peanuts. So let's speed it up because this is boring. Oh yeah. Clarence. Roger. Surely you can't be serious. I am serious. Don't call me Shirley. I haven't seen that movie in ages. I think Mute Donkey has it in his movie library. We should see if we can get him to play it in the Swordsman Discord soon. That'd be fun. Shake it.
Just busting some
Dance it. I don't like myself when I'm baby faced. I hate it.
Why?
I hate it.
So smooth, so silky smooth.
My face looks funky when I'm baby faced.
Baby. Baby. Only if I had used those tiny hands.
That'd be hilarious. For some reason, I feel like if you were to fly a private jet, I don't know why, but I feel like he would fly like a Falcon 2000. That's what I view him as flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know what that is.
I
There, we gotta climb up a little bit quicker. There's not a lot of ATC communication in this particular flight. I was trying to fly it earlier before Amber and Lusty wanted to take over the stream. And I didn't get to make it all the way to Cairo before I had to end it, so that way they could take over. But there was like no communication during this flight. It was a boring ass flight. Same with the one from Beijing to India, because half the flight takes over like the Chinese desert. I don't know what that desert is called. And it was so boring. There was like, I had it on 4 times speed, and there was no radio communication for like 45 minutes that I was sitting here as it was on 4 times speed. Yeah, it sucked. But it was pretty views because you could see a lot of mountains and stuff. Yeah, the Gobi Desert, I think you're right. Look at that. We got an island over there. Oh, we passed an island. Yeah, can I see the wing somehow? If I sit way forward, can I see the wing? Oh, there we go. Look at that. That's pretty neat. Probably don't need my strobes on anymore. We're up high enough. Do 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 do. I didn't say turn off strobe lights. Alright. At altitude. Let's change this to Mach. We'll fly at Mach 0.80, which is 80% the speed of sound. So Mach 1 is the speed of sound. And down here, let's see, my little thing at my mouse doesn't show up, does it? No. If you look, there's the attitude indicator, which is the blue and brown. Go to the screen to the right. Look at the very top left corner. You see a GS, that's ground speed. So ground speed of 449 knots and a true airspeed of 409 knots. Distance to the next location is 71 point counting down nautical miles. That's on the far right of the top screen. And the marker is called Nybox. It looks like I should reach there around 7:53. Local time? Because right now it's 6:44 UTC, according to 5:44 UTC. Oh, we can have them put their seatbelts off. Seatbelts off. There you go. Now you guys can take your seatbelts off. Concorde flew, I think it was Mach 1.5. It was like 1,100 miles per hour, 1,000 miles per hour. I know it was over Mach 1 for sure. I don't know if it broke Mach 2. But I think it was Mach Mach 1.2 to Mach 1.5. Had to have been. Minimum. And a lot of these jets probably could fly close to the speed of sound, but structurally, I don't think they'd be able to push past it. Rip everything apart. A lot of ocean. A lot of ocean back there. Well, Mediterranean Sea. Earlier I was flying a small airplane in Egypt, in Cairo, and it was kind of cool flying over the Sphinx and over the pyramids and stuff like that. It's just so crazy. It's just like right there, part of the city. And that'd be so beautiful. Can you imagine, like, living in a city where, like, the pyramids are just part of your life? You just drive and there's these super old ancient pyramids just there. And, you know, big sphinx that people created long ago, and how the hell they did some of that shit baffles me. Kind of like people in the UK who live by Stonehenge, you know, like we always see it online and everywhere, and they'd probably never think twice about it, whereas we see it and we think it's just so cool or neat to see, and it's just part of life for them. How many pilots does it take to screw in a light bulb? None, because they have the mechanics do it for them. Is that the right answer? Let's see what the answer is. Let's speed this up again. Well, hello, love. You passed it on to me. You should have just done it.
I just stare for Chris.
Well, Sam's in there too, so Sam asks, how many pilots does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Butt plugs. I don't know.
Butt plugs is your answer?
That's the first thing I thought of, okay?
Wow.
I thought of the first dirty thing I just said.
Sam, I guess Chase, the first thing he thinks of is how many light bulbs does it take to screw in, or how many pilots does it take to screw in a light bulb is butt plugs.
Something pilots being a lot of gay people. I don't know.
I said my answer was none. They have the mechanics do it for them.
Ooh.
Yeah. Boom. Sounds like a good answer to me. Oh, here. We got a big island apparently somewhere over there.
Big.
See, there's an island.
That's cool.
And ooh,
That is really
there you
cool.
go. Ooh, look at that. We got an island down in there that you can't see.
And no one can buy this type of view.
Right. Whoa, too much.
Oh, what?
Do you think that's an old ancient volcano? Or do you think that's like land that broke off because the earth is an expanding earth?
I think it's Pangea.
Pangea. Hi. You wanted to lick my face earlier so bad, but you couldn't. Alright, speed this up again. It's supposed to be like an hour and a half flight, but I'm gonna speed it up. You're so weird. I love you.
I love you.
There it was. Say hello to your little friend. I was bored. I was flight simming. We're gonna flight sim, so I figured why not just live stream. There's been a lot of crazy going on lately.
Talk to the people.
And no, you and I were kind of talking a lot about it earlier on, the whole conviction and how it's clearly a good thing, but it's just a mild little baby step.
It's like I remember I think I told you it's like 1,000-mile walk.
Yeah.
But you you have to take that first step. It sucks when you're like he's guilty, and then you see another headline go about this 16-year-old girl getting shot 4 times.
Right.
when she called for the help, and you're like, there it is. There you go, right there. We need to stop. We need to start moving now. Hit the ground running.
Yeah.
And that's a lot more than just people of color doing the work.
Well, and you and I talked, early last year about it all, and it's like I don't, as a white guy, I don't know what I can do, as far as things other than talk about it, which Jesus, which is a good thing, and at least say like I'm an ally, and I guess if that's all I can do, my thing is some of the things that I struggle with seeing, or I don't want to say I disagree with. Is Chris going to bed? Good night, Chris.
Good night.
Is what I dislike is when like you can be an advocate for gay people, but don't step in and act like you know what they should be having or getting. Let the gay people fight for that and do that. Same with people of color. Like, I can go out and I can do all these things, but as a white guy, it's not going to have as much prominence or importance. The cry for it isn't going to seem as strong. And so I can back up the person of color as they start to, do their marching or protesting or whatever. And it sucks sometimes sitting back, but I'll sit back and at least be vocal about things if I can't exactly do stuff that will, help out. You're not contributing to this at all.
I just wait because you're sitting there, you're talking, and I'm like, okay, like.
Normally you speak in more.
I just was like waiting because it's like you were kind of going, and I was like, okay, like say your piece.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the biggest thing, not the biggest thing. There's a couple things. You could be either down there protesting stuff like that if you can't because of health conditions, finances, or something like that. It's understandable. There are multiple ways to add to function and to really rally. And we said it on the stream earlier. Excuse me, Lesty said it earlier.
Mm.
But it's talking about like talking to your if it's your not every family member is going to listen to a friend, but maybe it's that one friend who doesn't get it, and you talk to them about it, and they start understanding it. It's like take the work of because it's kind of like someone who's trans should not have to be questioned about who they are. You can look that up, and if you find that you can't look that up, then frankly, you should just quit being lazy. But also take that work away from the trans person, from that black person, or find in scenarios where it's appropriate, where it's not them just explaining what it means to be black, kind of thing.
Right.
Why shouldn't black people die? That they shouldn't have to constantly have to reaffirm those words.
Yeah.
And also, and so it's kind of things like that,
I get what you're saying. Like, for me, what I could do to help them out is by talking to my family or my friends and explain why it is versus them having to go around to everyone and explain why or what's going on.
Right, like, a black person, people of color, people who are being marginalized, it's not their job to explain their existence.
Right.
When they also, on top of just existing and hardships of being a marginalized person, they too also, go to work, have to deal with annoying things like their insurance, or like maybe their car broke down, or maybe they have to go get that new lamp, and they are dealing with all the daily stresses that we have too, on top of being marginalized.
Mm-hmm.
And then being marginalized also on a systematic level, like living in the United States, becomes extraordinarily difficult. One small bit that I wish I thought of is I imagine being an inner city person who doesn't have the finances to go drive down to Rochester to go get a vaccine. That's not saying anyone else pinned that against them, but being in a system that pushes people to be working certain things, not be able to get certain loans, stuff like that, like a criminal, as an example. You can't get a high-paying job a lot. Very hard for someone with a criminal record to get good paying work. And let's say that they've been working let's say a gas station job, and they can't take time off because either maybe they are supporting someone else, maybe they are living in a house that it takes more than just one person to really fuel it, including watching children or taking care of another person, because sometimes I find they either live with their parents or they're homeless, jumping couch to couch, so they can't afford to take a day off to go get a vaccine, get sick from the vaccine, get back to life. They're not allowed that because there's always a constant need for them to continue funding themselves or funding something. Right. It's so hard. And, you think of people who get marginalized in that manner, and that's the part where it's me stating that alone. I had a coworker ask me, she's like, well, I just don't get why there's homeless people. And I'm like, okay, well, you have people who literally mentally, on a mental scale, can't even help themselves because they don't know where they are at. There's parents who kick out queer people all the time, and we're talking anywhere from the ages of 12 to 17. And 12-year-olds can't get work unless you're doing a paper route ain't giving you shit, and you aren't going to be signed on to a lease as a 14-year-old.
Right.
Veterans a lot of time end up going homeless because they have a hard time. It's hard existing in this world, and when you're just expected to function, and it goes anywhere from people who just simply can't get work, or maybe they have addiction and then they stop being addicted, but their life was spiraling so hard that they couldn't stop. I mean, I know it myself alone, no addiction, with bad roommate situation, maybe some bad calls with obligations I had. I was probably gonna have to go back home and live with my parents 4 hours out if it wasn't moving in with you.
Right.
And if that was gonna happen, I was homeless. And it literally just happens like that. There's just such a mix of fortunate things, and it's one of those things where it's at that enlightening moment where I don't have to always educate 100% someone down, but it's one point where it's just turning the perspective a little.
Yeah.
It's always wanting to point the finger, especially I feel in the United States, because there's that whole entire idea of hustle culture, and where every hobby has to become work. Or you have to be able to bust your ass working 40 to 60 to 80 hours a week. It's a very common story for people, including doing school or doing side projects or adding somehow in life just to get something. Not even something great, not even the thing you want, just to get something. But you have to do that.
Right.
And so there's always a thing if you're not adding, in that sense, adding, quote, air quotes, people look at you and they go, well, why aren't you doing enough? And it's to what? If I started working at my coffee shop, that doesn't affect you all the way over in Cincinnati because it's local money. If I'm working for Target, all of my work efforts go into a corporation that is getting money out of the economy, and they do some fundraisers and charity works for homeless people in the local community. But besides that, all that money goes straight to them, and they're making bank. I remember when I worked at Target. Every day, my Target alone was making $180,000 in sales every single day. And they were trying to get it to be more. So, it's things like that where you see funnels tunnels of cash.
Mm-hmm.
And where you have to be adding to something, and you can't, and then people immediately just start pointing fingers at you. There's always someone who's a bad guy. But if you aren't doing it the right way, you're terrible unless you're with the right people. Hence, with like people of color who have to sell drugs, and who are they selling some of their drugs to? Rich white people, or to other people who are impoverished and of color who have addiction.
Yeah.
And you know what? And if they get caught, they're criminals, and then it's black on black crime, and black people always hurting black people. They're not talking about that white person that's getting their nice marijuana from that person of color until they can't get anymore because they get busted, or that white person starts selling. Like, I used to live in an area where teens were hustling drugs left and right, and they're all white teens, and do you know what? No one cared.
Yeah.
And no one called cops on them. No one expected. Everyone knew. It wasn't a secret at all. And no one flinched or did anything like that, but yet they are looking at inner city kids with like a dirty eye.
Right.
And I'm like, y'all are some ass backwards people. It's really disappointing.
Yeah.
And so things like that, where it comes to even just like flipping the script, changing the perspective a little. It's like, I don't even have to tell you everything, but I need to add one more little dime into what your perspective is on the world. Because we don't all know the full story. None of us do.
Mm-hmm.
So let's stop acting like we do. You know, like, sure. Like the one guy, Jacob Blake. Some people were like, well, he has a history of sexual assault. I'm like, doesn't mean he needs to get shot in front of people.
Meantime, you do have someone who actually did rape someone, is only in jail for, 6 months and then gets let out because they don't want to tarnish his future.
And big questions and stuff like that, where it's like, I'm not trying to downplay sports, but something like that. Like, he had a swimming scholarship. Okay, what is he going to go do with it?
Right.
If you're going to get someone out of jail sooner and not have him, like, suffer the consequences, I want that boy's life laid out in front of me, and then he better walk every inch of that mile.
Right.
On a whim that he's going to be the most highest successful swimmer / whatever the hell he was planning to do in college. Versus this person just trying to get by because they found something that was easier to do. I'm not saying every single person's innocent in the world who happens to be a person of color, but they are more innocent than what the world likes to paint them.
Right.
It's always so annoying. Even in my hometown, I similar people of Native background who kind of hash on other Native Americans and saying like, oh, they all just drink and do drugs. I'm like, okay, like that's not true. Like, y'all just talking smack on each other for no reason.
Well, and then in your own experience, by being, half Native and whatnot, then you get things said against you just because, you pass as white.
Right, and it's like, I acknowledge the fact that I am not going to probably be, like, targeted for my colored background of being Native American, because most of the time people think I'm either actually Latin or Mexican, and they actually target me about that, which is weird.
Right.
Or it's just people doing microaggressions to me, so I can usually bob and weave through that.
Yeah.
More so, I've been like mainly just like hate crimed and like attacked for being queer.
Yeah.
And very visibly queer, something I can't change. Or I choose not to try to force it to something else. Like, there's so much back and forth, because then you get Native Americans who tell me that I'm too white, but then I get white people who like to point out that I don't look white all the time, and I even get other people of color who go, oh, I know you're just not that. And I'm like, that's true. And people think it's like a little puzzle piecing game. I've had people follow me in stores because they thought I was a Mexican, and they thought I was going to steal.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I've been followed by trucks in my hometown.
That I didn't know.
Max is very openly gay, and the whole death threats online and stuff like that. I had someone, I had a white person start speaking to me in Spanish, which isn't like a mean thing. Honestly, it's probably like, thank God someone's trying. It was just one of them where I'm like, I'm not the other one, but thank you. They're a beautiful heritage too. I'll never be offended by that.
Right.
I have like an idea of like why I don't care if someone calls me a woman.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would I ever be offended by being called a woman? I am mostly basically non-binary essentially anyways, but I just don't really care about gender. So like, Yeah, it's just, there's so many cycles, there's so many vicious cycles that happen within circles that have their own aggressions towards themselves while also having outward aggressions. It's very dog fight, very dog on dog fight, man eat man world kind of thing.
Right.
And it's very, I don't get that. It's the same problem I always talk about, like people like maxing out in capitalism, because capitalism is also very like dog eat dog world.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was really long.
No, you're good. I want to say goodnight to Sam if he's not gone already. But goodnight to him. And then Foe actually says a scholarship is not a valid reason to get someone out of jail, in my opinion. He should have served his full sentence, or at least the average time served for that sentence. Is he even a registered sex offender? I don't know.
I think all his... Well, because I don't know if the charge got dropped, because he served 6 months.
Yeah. And then Dark Steve is here. You can fly in a sim, welcome to the desert, or of the real Mr. Anderson. You can fly in a sim, welcome to the desert of the real Mr. Anderson. I don't know what that means. And then Demon Orb is here, so welcome Demon Orb. I decided, earlier, Amber Atkins Diet and Leslie Philher took over our Wednesday night streams, and so when they were done and left, I decided I'm gonna flight sim. Why not just stream it and babble like I'm good at doing?
Just cutting the nerves,
right? And then we were kind of discussing. I know, the Matrix. I know Amber and Leslie were kind of talking about the conviction yesterday, so we talked on that, or we decided to talk on it a little bit, and how it's kind of a baby step for a lot of things in a lot of areas to go. I know one of my good friends who is a flight instructor at iFly, he's actually quitting. And the reason why he's quitting is because he was arrested during the protests during because the George Floyd was here in the city that I live in, and he went out and was a part of it, and he was wrongfully arrested. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't causing any damage, which a lot of the damage, well, not a lot of the damage, but like the burning down of things and whatnot. It was people who came in from out of state that were trying to make the Black Lives Matter movement look bad.
Well, see,
that's been proven. That went through court.
There's a whole thing about that, which all the people who were once the fires were started were just eating up.
Right. I mean, it's not that there weren't bad people in the BLM side.
Well,
but they weren't the main instigators of some of that shit that went down.
There's people watching away, and there's people who are radicals. But you call radicals not the protesters.
Right.
There always can be separate entities in other situations, and that's the things I always want to put to other people. There were people who were instigating. A couple of them were found to be undercover cops, and that was proven.
Right.
Several of them, the auto parts store, the O'Reilly that got set on fire, that was an undercover cop who did that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And people did take advantage of that. There were people who went right in. Once more, you're looking at a world that is based on dog eat dog.
Right.
So when someone looks at a beast who's been starving or is just even hungry, what do you think is going to happen? I'm not saying it's okay, but what do you expect? And you look at the other people who were while that was happening simultaneously, there were still fairly organized Black Lives Matter protests happening while that was occurring. They weren't all just scattering. In fact, there were so many people part of the Black Lives Matter protests who went and protected doors.
Right, we're stopping, trying to stop things from happening because it makes them look bad, so why would they want that stuff to happen?
And it happened all around the country. It wasn't just in Minnesota that happened. There was a super common thing in LA, and in San Francisco, and in some of the southern states. It was super common where people were trying to share footage circulating of people trying to protect small establishments and businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And it really sucks because then you get those people from the businesses who are mad and hurt. What do you do with that? Once more, that is someone fighting another person who is fighting another person.
Right. No, he's not in the bathroom on this flight. He's just sitting on the couch over there.
You don't know I got these pants. I have a hot load.
A hot look, gross. Oh.
Just keeping me warm. And once more, not saying all of that is okay. There's a portion where, like, for some people I know, some people I'm friends with and stuff like that, they tend to, I would say, be more for anarchy in the sake of what's occurring because they want a complete destruction of the system. And at this point, some of it, I understand why your thoughts are there. And so they're very pro that. I think it's concerning because then what does that make those people look like? Everyone gets so generalized too.
Right.
Like, you know, I don't believe every Christian is like Kim Davis, but there's a good handful that are starting to prove themselves to be, especially in our court systems. And then it's like I don't think every like black person is like 50 Cent, who is a physically abusive, like gangbanger who turned his life around, got out, and then became physically abusive person again.
Right.
I don't think everyone is like these certain character portrayals. At the same time, like once more, when people walk a certain line in light, like what am I supposed to do? I'm not gonna say that next person's gonna be like that, but also it's like I see that Karen coming into my store, I'm gonna treat her with kindness, but the minute she freaks out, but it's also because I would do that to anyone.
Bye, Karen.
I would do that to any person who wants to like act up or get sassy with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of it's so funny because it's kind of like the idea where like people who have handicaps or people who are differently able oftentimes just end up being like, I just rather be treated like everyone else. And in fact, I think there's like that South Park episode that talks about Nurse Golem, where she was like, I just wish all y'all would make fun of me the same way all of you are nasty and terrible to each other, instead of making me feel weird and put on this like pedestal, and then also in a weird odd way making fun of and mocking my like my physical
deformity.
Yeah, and I think America has a huge thing with wannabe heroes, which is another highlight I think that happens in that show. All of them are amping each other up because all of them want to be the good guy,
and yet they're all being terrible people.
And that's kind of like the whole thing with like, not to get political, people, Democrats who wanted to put in Joe Biden. I think there's a good thing to get the one guy out. You know, all of the things aside what Joe's doing right now, mixed bag.
Joe.
But a lot of people, there was a handful of them who believed once they got Trump out that they were like, it's all good and groovy now. And it's like, absolutely not. It's kind of like why I'm so glad people who are on TV after Derek Chauvin got like his conviction, that is like, everyone said this is a small step, and there's a big thing I was talking to you about with like the whole like gay people are able to start getting married, and everyone's like, it's done, we're good, and it's like, no, we're not.
No, we still got a ways to go. Yeah, there's still a lot of things that are against the LGBTQ community, and
that's why I don't like when these people just go, oh, I did my good deed, I'm a hero now, and it's like, shut up, quit trying to be a hero. No one cares for your heroism because this is actually about just finding a mutual ground that everyone gets to stand on.
Right.
Equity, right? Yeah. And it's like, why in the United States does everyone need to be like, think they're the superstar? And don't get me wrong, I'm a drag queen, so I'm a superstar.
Whatever. You like, only think you a superstar.
I'll show you what a superstar is. But, like, there's such a problem with that.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be, like, a hero. Everyone wants to be, like, the one on top. And the whole situation that's happening now is it's not about anyone else coming out on top. It's about everyone standing on equal ground.
Yeah. Angel, I didn't know that there would be another stream either. I started a flight sim and I figured why not pop on and do that? Yeah. And being Amber and Lusty left, we figured we could come on and discuss some of the things that apparently Amber and Lusty were talking about. A better world, I think, would be virtual. A better word, I think, would be virtual. Virtue signaling. They are only a hero and their actions are heroic. If their actions are heroic, yeah.
If it gains them something.
Right. And so, I don't know, but were you in here when I was saying, like, one of the things that, I've struggled with during all this is, because I have friends in all different communities, is, how can I be an ally for them, and what things can I do, And I said probably the best thing I can do is just stay in the background and let them fight, because I don't know what I would be able to contribute other than to talk to family members or friends who don't understand the situation, or why things might be the way they are, or why people feel the way they are. So I said that's the only thing I think I could do to contribute to it all is by doing that. Whereas, it's, to me, if it's people of color who are being discriminated against more, I don't want to say it's not right for me to go out and do my voice, but I can go out and do that, but it's my role, I feel, would be better to talk with the family members and the friends. He's farting over there. Family members and the friends, and how I can maybe help them to understand why the feelings are the way they are, and let the people who are truly knowledge to go out and be able to, be protesting in the streets, or in Congress, or whatever it might be. So, yeah. Yeah. They kept scolding you, Angel? What were they scolding you on? Were you talking naughty? Because I know they're very wholesome girls, apparently. So unless you were talking naughty.
Women of God.
Women of God. Yeah. They have the worst Minnesota accents.
Well,
My God. Yeah. Well, yeah, Leslie, because she came from New Jersey, she's got like a Jersey accent mixed in with Minnesota accent.
And then it just sounded like she'd been smoking for a long time afterwards.
Yeah, but man, they got some terrible Minnesota accents. If you all think that I have a bad Minnesota accent, you should have heard Amber talking. She's my cousin. She's more from up north. But yeah, crazy. What the hell are the pyramids? I took off earlier, and I was saying I flew over the pyramids, and it was kind of cool to see, like, the Sphinx and the pyramids, and like they live there, and they're just there, and they go by them, and they don't think anything of them. It's just, like here in Minnesota, we're farmlands, green everywhere, and people from Arizona, wow, there's so much green, there's so many trees. And then you go out to Colorado, wow, look at the mountains, there's so many mountains, and stuff like that. And it's like stuff that you take for granted that you forget about sometimes.
How don't you get excited about it? Like, when I see the view of you in, like, Minnesota from above, I'm like, oh, what gorgeousness. Will say it was weird when I first flew into Denver. So my sister used to live in Colorado Springs. And so, she got me at Denver, and on our drive from Denver to Colorado Springs, there was, like, nothing in sight for a while. Like, no, like, trees, very flat, like,
right.
Hilly land. I was kind of like, where's the green?
The east side of Denver is...
It's weird.
Eastern Colorado is like eastern North Dakota.
But
nothing.
Then, like, once we got to Colorado Springs, like you said, there's mountains, there's Pikes Peak, there's some other spot, I can't remember right now.
Royal Gorge? Somewhere in there.
We didn't go to that one. There was another spot that we went to. There's, like, the mile walk that's pretty much almost vertical.
Oh, yeah.
And then also, like, old Colorado Springs is stunning. It's literally old, like, adobe housing, like, structured, like, city life. And it's fascinating because, like, it has, like, those TV show moments where, like, you turn the back alley of some, like, place, and it has, like, string lights, arcades, bars, and vendors in between. It has all of that in there, and it's the coolest thing ever. Also, everyone there talks about sports. like everyone. Literally, I watched the strangers would just start talking about like a team. And I was like, how does everyone know these? And then I said, oh, this is unbelievable. I had to get out of this state. Also, when I was there, like, I did not realize how real, what is that called when you go up? It's like, level.
Elevation?
Elevation sickness. I did not know that was like a thing.
Lack of oxygen and all that.
Yeah,
or less tired. Oxygen than you're used to.
I could nap at any point when I was there.
Uh-huh.
I felt tired day and night.
I was like one time in the airplane, we go up, and if you go 15,000 feet above sea level, it's required. Oxygen is required, and so when we jump out at 13,000, we're really at 14,000 above sea level. And there was one time there was clouds, and so we just have to keep circling and circling and circling, and you could almost kind of feel yourself starting to get a little bit more lightheaded, and hypoxia can start to set in. So you got to be kind of careful, like how long you're up there circling for. But a lot of us sort of like get us out the door, like we want to be down, we want to be out the door and like back into like air and whatnot, and
I'll figure it out.
Right. Oh, come on. Good thing. And yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of weird getting used to. Alright, now this area looks familiar from where I flew before. The pyramids should be somewhere over here. There they are. You can see them off to the right windscreen. You got two over there, and then I think there was like one that was south of there, and the Sphinx is over there. That's wild, Chase. That's wild.
When I was up north, my friends Trevor, who drove me up, we were waiting for everyone to get like showered up so we could go to the bar. And so we were watching the X-Men movies. There's one that had Apocalypse in it. And there's a whole elaborate scene of this trap being set up and like the whole pyramid like caves in on itself because pyramids, traps, stuff like that. And like I just later was like, could you imagine being a slave in Egypt, watching something like you like literally like watch families die and shed blood over to them, just get destroyed. Like, could you imagine? I'd be so pressed as a slave, being like, I'm making this structure just for someone dead to land. Mm-hmm. You better get out of my face about this. I'd like let them kill me right there. I'd be so mad.
Right.
I'd be so mad. I was like, this stupid bastard gets a die in here with these insane traps and like puzzles in here. Are you kidding me? Get out of my face. And then they'd probably.
Yeah. They said earlier they gave me an altimeter. What was my altimeter? I missed my altimeter. Damn it. 3009. There we go. What is that? 3010.
Whenever I see Avril Lavigne, I just think of like the thing about how.
Look at those pyramids right in front of me. Sorry, when you think of Avril Lavigne, what?
Oh, you're fine. I think of a conspiracy about how she killed the place.
What?
There are people who are thoroughly convinced.
That Avril Lavigne got killed
like
and replaced.
Real Avril Lavigne is dead and was replaced by an actress.
Oh my god.
And like people get crazy about it. Right.
That's wild. Lower some more flaps. Get that speed down. Probably turn on the localizer soon here. Yeah. Ooh, she taking a wide turn. Real wide turn. Angel Gamer heard about the Avril Lavigne one. That's crazy. People are crazy.
Did you think of crazy? Yeah, I always think of Next.
No, I don't know what you think of Next.
Lana Del Rey, I think like 3 or 4 years ago, had these crazy ass fans who flew in from Russia. Two gals. They broke into her house and camped out in her garage, and she ended up like walking the rest of the house herself inside of it. Because they were chanting about like how they thought she was a god, but that they were going to kill her to honor her god state.
Okay, how does that make sense?
It was insane to me. I was like, these Russian gals hear a singer that they like, and suddenly they're like, I'm gonna come to America, bust in their house, slaughter the person that inspired by me because I'm freeing them into their god state. You are wilding out on something else.
Wilding out on something else.
And you should be stopped. Prime example. Those are people who literally can't help themselves because they are spiraling. And they are looking for an exit strategy.
Lowering some flaps. Here we go. I'm on the center one, right? Yeah, I'm flying on the... Because there's the left, right. There's left, center, and right. And I'm scheduled to land on the center runway. Alright, here we go. Alright, I think I got one more set of flaps. There we go. Lower that set of flaps. And I think we're getting on the glide slope, so let's turn on approach. Oh, come on. Why can't I get on the approach? It's an ILS, what the hell? Amber and Lucy would have scolded Foe for sure. What did he do? Yeah, that Foe guy really is a pervert. Telling McToon to eat his wife more often. What? What was this? You dirty birdies. There we go. Now we got approach mode on.
All of y'all are wilding out on these streams with genitalia.
Genitalia.
What a great word.
It is. Alright. We're on the localizer. Clear to land. Let's get the gear down. So look at that. Boom, gear down. And flaps are all the way down. Lights are all on. Oops, I forgot to tell everyone to turn their seatbelts back on. There we go.
My gosh,
yeah, that should have happened on descent. So he did it. Foe did it when Toon was eating bugs and writing down who he was eating. So he had names for him, and his one was his wife or something. That's wild.
What's going on
over on that McToon? So I said, you should write your wife and eat her more often. That's fantastic. Chase, do you live for that?
I stand.
You stand. If your legs were spread, they didn't see it.
As the kids say.
Yeah. But McToon and his wife were my youth leaders in church like 20 years ago. That's kind of cool. Alright, I can't look at the screen because I'm gonna be trying to land here, and I'm gonna be all over the place because I can't remember what the winds were, and I don't normally fly an Airbus, or I wasn't trained to fly an Airbus, so I'm probably gonna... That's the other thing I hate about the simulators. When you land, it sounds terrible. It sounds like you're landing on the damn belly of the airplane. It sounds like a horrific crash that it really isn't. Oh, I'm a bit high. Come on, drop down. Drop it down, drop it down, drop down, down, down. My wind speed, my air speed. Yeah, let's drop it low, drop it low, drop it low, drop it, drop it, drop it low, drop it low, drop it low. Oh, yes, yes, I know. Yeah, it sounds terrible when you land. It sounds like a crunch, like the worst crunch sound ever. That's not the next taxiway. The next taxiway is right. Oh, I see why you didn't want me to turn at that one. It's like, it would have been a hardcore turn.
I think we should get Mexican soon.
Mexican soon?
Yeah.
Those enchiladas they have there. We need to get Lagos Tacos. I heard Amber and Lusty talking about it, and I want one of their meat and potato burritos that are freaking fantastic.
Oh, I've never had them.
So good. Oh God, so delicious.
So delicious.
What do you think I'm doing, asshole? Slow your tits. Jesus.
I don't understand how people get the choice to draw their lips the size they want and short.
What now? You're talking really quiet. Speak up for the peeps to hear you.
Oh, I'm complaining about something that's not relatable.
Oh.
It's about drag entertainers given the choice to make their lips as large as they want. And they decide that they just want to make these little pasty lips.
Pasty what marks? Pasty
Lips.
what? Lips? Oh.
Like, you get to make your lips as big as you want.
Chase is not under my desk. He's sitting over on the couch being shy.
I'm not being shy. I'm letting myself poop out.
You'll be reconditioning a 767 cockpit today. Real plane section for movie sets. That's freaking cool. 767. I've never been on one of those. The biggest plane, well, I don't even know if it would be considered that big of a plane, was a KC-135 refueler for the Air Force. I got to lay in the boom area and watch them midair refuel some B-52 bombers. And I have photos somewhere of it all. And I don't know if that would be considered the biggest plane, because, I mean, well, the 757's got to be smaller than that, because they definitely don't have 757s as refuelers. So, but yeah, I think a KC-135 would be the biggest, because I've been on a 757, 737, A320, been in CRJs, and I flew a 172, and I flew a Seneca. Like, I actually piloted it. I've flown in a Citabria, but yeah, those are all small planes, but do it, foe. It's so fun. It's landing's probably the hardest thing to learn. Aside from, like, radio frequency stuff. Like, if you, because I learned at an uncontrolled airport, so it was super easy. Controlled airport, there's a little bit more to remember, but landing is the hardest part, because everything's reverse of what you think. You use your throttle for your altitude, and you use your pitch. The pitch of the nose for speed, and so it's reverse of what you think should be. Oops. So, coming up to our gate here, you guys, this is gonna be so cool. I'll go on the outside of this once I get to the gate. Like, you can watch the jet bridge hook up, and you can watch, like, the baggage people come, do all that fun stuff. But so I did Athens to Cairo. Let's slow down a bit. One thing I don't like about this flight sim is the 737 is really hard to turn, and the toe brakes don't help it turn really sharp. It's kind of funky. So like I do a toe brake here, and I should be able to do a real sharp turn, but it basically just stops me. And I don't have a throttle quadrant that allows me to do, just the right throttle or just the left throttle. So, alright. Yeah. I'm coming. Hold on, guy. I'm probably parking really terribly. A little bit more. Dude, you're gonna make me go into the pushback. Oh, okay. It's like having me park on the pushback. Alright, there we go. Throttle down. Let's see. Go back here. So, is our APU on? Let's turn these off. APU is on. Strobe is already off. We can turn that off. Keep our beacon on. Turn that off. Let's hit the park brake. And boom. Those are off. We can turn off our beacon. And turn off our logos. And now let's. Oh, we can tell people. Let's back up here. We can tell people they can take their seatbelts off. And we'll go outside. Watch this part. This is really freaking cool. That's not that bad of a park job. Why are my engines still spinning? Look at that, jet bridges coming up. How neat is that? Well, that's pretty neat. Look at that, the door opens and stuff. What the hell? Aw, you guys are getting screwed. Because the jet bridge isn't coming all the way up. Normally it comes all the way up and then you can see it actually connect to the damn airplane. Well, that's a rip-off. I was all excited for them to see this. And it's not even hooked up to the airplane.
Oh.
Watch this. When do we get to see the crashes? I don't crash. No, I was trying to do a challenge earlier of there's that one runway that's like on a really steep hill over in like Indonesia or something, and I tried to do the challenge on that and that sucked. So I definitely crashed on that one. That one was very difficult. But otherwise, most of them, I maybe have had some really rough landings. But see, that guy had me come way too far forward. Because look at that, the baggage people aren't even hooked up right. Maybe had some not so wonderful landings. But there, now it all of a sudden scoots sideways for it. Watch this. You watch the belt go on. Look at that. The baggage goes up. And I can request catering. So if I get this out of the way, watch the catering truck over here. Oops. Oh, it's still in the way. And then... Oh, they don't even offer... Oh, there's fuel. I don't know how the fuel comes out, but. And I think the fuel trucks go on the wrong side of the airplanes because everything gets done on this side, which sucks because anytime I fueled, those baggage people were always dicks and would block me up from getting underneath the wing to fuel it. And so we'd like if you get a delay, it goes against you. So if we showed up and the baggage people were blocking us from getting in, we'd call in right away, hey, we're being blocked by baggage people. Because then if there was a delay, it would be on the airline itself for blocking us out from being able to do services. So if it was a flight that only had like say 15 minutes left on the clock, but you know it's a flight that takes like 20 to 30 minutes to fuel, you'd kind of almost purposely find a way to call in a block out, so that way if it got delayed because of fuel, you could claim no, it was because such and such was in the way.
So you're saying no vigilant.
Yeah. But alright, let's well, that was pretty neat. That was a fun little flight. Like I said, I figured I'd throw something up. I was kind of bored and figured why not go online with it while I was doing this. You're so weird. I love you. But yeah, so there you go. How long has this been going? Oh damn, this has been going for an hour and 40 minutes. I did not think it was that late. What time is it? Oh shit, it's 1:34. We should probably get the boys out again. Look at Gizzy. Look at little Gizzy. He is little tuckered. Yeah. I got Noki laying up by your head. I don't know if I showed y'all my setup. Let's see if I can do it. I know this is really, really weird. So I got vape stuff. I got my one monitor here, and my keyboard, and that's the monitor that I flight sim on with my yoke, and my rudder pedals down there. And that is my system. The Fantex P500A with a Radeon RX 6800 XT, Ryzen 9 3900. I got a 360 Rad AIO and 140 fan in the back and three 140s in the front. That's my system. Yeah. And I was able to pay it all off last week. Last week I was able to pay it completely off, and I don't owe anything on it. It is 100% mine, and yay. I'm so happy about that. So I owe nothing. I don't want to say I'm debt free because I still owe on my credit cards, but that is one less thing I have to worry about, because this wasn't on my credit cards. This was on financing through other things, but so yeah, I'm happy about that. Woo! Anyways, I'm gonna call it a night. Everyone have a good night. Sleep well. Sweet dreams. Love and light to you all. And we're gonna say good night. Maybe next you can pay off a beard. Pay off a beard. To have one, because I baby faced it and I hate baby facing it. Should I play my outro? Do you guys want to see my skydiving outro? Most of you have all seen it before. I can move this back over here. Ooh. Let's let me see something. Why won't that click? Let's see if I have a video somewhere that I can play as an outro. I could play the day that we watched the car accident in front of us, and you go, well, that just happened. Ooh, I could do a rocket launch. Oops, that's not a rocket launch. That was Chase performing Black Velvet. Let's go. I'll remove that. Let's do, is this the cool rocket launch one? Which one is this? Oh, where do I have? I thought I had the one on, Bounty Hunter. But I don't know where that one's at. Now, it wasn't a rocket, but it gave you a rocket, didn't it?
Wow.
Come on. Go in there. Why isn't this doing this now? You're being a pain in the ass. What the hell? Rocket flight? That one will go in there. The rocket is well tucked. That's beautiful. Poop particles. Does this one work? Media source. Media source. Browse. This is so stupid. Before I was able to just click and drag it over. Why? This is welcome to Tanner trying to learn OBS 101 yet again. YouTube. And what is it called? Rocket Flight. Rocket Flight. Boom. Open. Okay. Alright, let's see if this works. Here comes the rocket launch for y'all. Hopefully it's a good... Oh, no. That's not gonna work yet. I know what I gotta do first. Transform. Fit to screen. Alright, now let's try it. Let's see if this works. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Alright. We gotcha. But I'm going to quickly take tape off to see if there's a light blinking. Alright, let's fast forward it. Let's see. Is there something else on here, or is this it? Oh, here's Bounty Hunter. This is the good one. This is a fun one. Yes, rockets can. So I have a chute release where it goes crazy until like a certain altitude, then the parachute releases. Unfortunately, on this particular launch, the chute release failed, and luckily that the rocket landed flat. So there's a drogue on it, which is a smaller parachute that I had before the main parachute came out to help kind of slow it down. Luckily that was there to help the rocket land flat, otherwise it could have came to the ground ballistic and really smashed up. So yeah, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you guys heard me on any of that, but I was saying, I have a chute release that releases obviously at a certain altitude, so it goes up and then it does the ejection. Normally the parachute comes out right then, but I have a chute release tied around it that when it gets to a certain altitude, then it a rubber band pops off of it and then the chute comes out. And it worked well on the first video you saw, but the second one, I have it where a drogue comes out, a smaller parachute to kind of help keep it balanced, and then the bigger one's supposed to go. But the big one, the big parachute on it didn't fully come out, so it landed flat. But otherwise, if you want to see size, this one is Bounty Hunter. This was the one that was in the last video you saw. And so it's a fairly good size. This takes a G engine, or up to a G engine. Whereas most like hobby rockets that you get for like kids and stuff like that are A, B, and C engines typically. But this is not my biggest one. This one is my biggest one. You can't see how far back do I have to go. Pretty far back. Let's see. Yeah, it's really hard to see how big they are in comparison. Yeah, it's too hard to see like how big it actually is. These things down here are just dipping sauce cups. Because originally it came with Dixie cups that you spray paint, and I was like, I ain't putting Dixie cups on there. I'm putting, actual metal on it to kind of help it look a little bit more realistic and more sturdy. So yeah, and I like. Ooh, I should pull out the one. I like realistic looking missiles. And this one is supposed to be an AMRAAM, but I haven't fully painted it yet. So it's an AMRAAM missile. And I'll finish painting this at some point with all its striping and all its U.S. Air Force markings. And that one takes a G motor as well. And these fins on here are actually fiberglass. And then the tube is like a type of fiberglass tube too. So this isn't the typical cardboard like all the other ones. So this one will hold up a little bit stronger. But so it's my AMRAAM missile. Anyways. Yep, exactly. AMRAAM. But I'm gonna call it a night, guys. Everyone sleep well. Hello, Mark. You're a little bit late. I was flight simming and now I'm heading out. Chase is passed out on the couch. And the dogs need to go potty and I need to go to bed. So have a good night, everyone. We'll talk